These are examples of a variegated Chinese elm. Now, the difference is on these variegated ones, when it first comes out, it comes out yellow. And then as it starts to harden off or the leaves start to mature, it will turn a little more greenish. And in time, the leaves will turn green with a white margin on the end. Unfortunately, by summer, it looks almost identical to a regular Chinese elm. But the spectacular colors in spring, when it comes out of dormancy, is something that I wanted to show you in this episode. So when it first comes out in spring, it's very yellowish, yellowish green, I guess. When it first comes out, it looks like this, very bright yellow with a slight tint of green, and then as it starts to mature, it'll turn greener. You'll notice that there is a white margin on here, and the leaf continues to darken. Unfortunately, as it gets closer to the heat of the summer, it turns green and quite often cannot distinguish between this variegated variety and the regular variety. Like many deciduous plants, when it comes out of dormancy, there is a tendency for very vigorous growth. There is a tendency for these very vigorous growth. It just shoots way out like that. That's normal and healthy indication for a deciduous plant. In place, so I'm cutting back to one of the lower, like so, projects that are more or less on the finished side, meaning it's got the shape and all we do is the maintaining, especially if you're having a show or a family gathering or some sort of event that this is going to be seen by many people, then you need to be very careful that you trim these very precisely. If it's in the rough material state, you could just do this because you don't really notice the ends, but this is a finished product, and so every cut has to be very precise. So it's taken me a while. Well, about 30 minutes later, looks like that. See, I pruned this one a little heavier than this one. This one I just took off all the random shoots. This one I went and cleaned up more. If the lady was going to pick this up tomorrow, I would have trimmed like that. But I know that she won't be coming for almost a month. That means that I have time for it to grow back. What I'm going to do now is to fertilize these, both of them, with the other bonsai that I have with the time release. And you've seen how I do that on my other videos. As it starts to warm up, this will grow fairly rapidly, so even being cut back like this is not a problem. But this gives you that immediate good look because it's nice and lush. This one is set up for a better future. So you have to gear your pruning technique based on what you're trying to accomplish. One more thing that could keep your leaves from getting small is sunlight. Plants that are in fairly deep shade or not enough sunlight will tend to have larger leaves with the inner nodes much longer, not conducive to good bonsai. So keep that in mind. Pruning and keeping it pop bound and sunlight. Then you should have products like this where it's nice and small, interesting shape, everything that makes a good or perfect bonsai.